What is going down, 49er fans? We are live on location here in Green Bay. We're going to be talking about all the intel that we picked up today here, boots on the ground. Talked to Daniel Jeremiah. I spoke with Mason Graham. I talked to Tet McMillan, even asked Cam Ward some questions, even asked Travis Hunter a question. And we'll also just talk about this overall just crazy experience. First day here, first time covering the NFL draft, and I'll give you a little bit of insight into just how crazy today has been, and we'll get into it all right now. Let's go. Drop an SES in the chat. Smash that like button. It's draft time. Smash that like button if you haven't already. Love to see it. All right, what is going down, faithful? Just want to make sure that you guys can hear me. Have no audio issues, nothing like that. How do we sound? Do we sound good, crisp? Huh? Let me know. I'm hearing a little bit of feedback, but as long as you guys don't hear it, that's fine with me. But let's talk about some of the stuff that's went down today. I mean, today has been absolutely amazing. Started off with us being able to go speak to the prospects, be able to talk to them about everything that's been going on. So any of the prospects that were here, they basically had a session where the media had about a half an hour to go kind of hop around, go to player to player, and ask whatever questions you could. And I was really excited to be able to talk to a couple guys. I want to talk to you about what I heard or what I discussed. There we go. I got the feedback out of my ear. Now I'm ready to rock. It's a little distracting. I really enjoyed talking to Tetera. God, I'm just gonna say Tet. See, I tried. I went out on a limb. I was like, I'm gonna try to pronounce his name. Nope, we're going back. Audible. Tet McMillan. I really enjoyed talking to him, but he gave me some great stuff on Jacob Cowing. I think Jacob Cowing might be a little bit of a forgotten player in that draft class from last year because it was just such a great draft class. The San Francisco 49ers came away with Ricky Pearsall, Dominic Pooney, Renardo Green, Malik Mustafa, Isaac Guerrero. They even got guys as UDFAs in Evan Anderson who contributed. And I just think that when we looked at Jacob Cowing's season last year, he didn't get that many opportunities. And he was used seldomly as a returner, occasionally got onto the field. But he started to make a couple plays as the season progressed. And there's a couple things has kind of transpired over this offseason. One, watching Jacob Cowing in that vlog with Ricky Pearsall, because what I really loved about that was watching Jacob coach up Ricky, right? It wasn't the other way around. It was Cowing was like a coach on the field. And when you watch and you look at his career, it started at UTSA, then he goes to Arizona. And then you listen to the way Tet McMillan talked about him today. I asked him about Jacob Cowing, and he just started laughing immediately. He clearly loves the guy. He said he's Jacob Cowing's the best wide receiver he's ever played with. And you could really get a sense that leadership in Jacob Cowing rubbed off on McMillan. McMillan has a chance to be a top 10 draft pick. He could potentially go in the top 15. But it does sound like when he talks about Jacob Cowing, that Jacob could really really was a great presence for him. And when I look at that and I think about it, I'm like, man, we cannot forget about Jacob Cowing. We just really can't. I think it's easy to, because we didn't see him on the field all that much. And, when we did, sometimes it was a little disjointed, which is to be expected with rookie wide receivers. But I'm excited. I think that, Jacob Cowing really has the chance to have I wouldn't call it a full breakout, but he could definitely show up and make some plays for the San Francisco 49ers. Again, his breakout will be partly due to opportunity. How many ops does he get? Is Brandon Ayuk healthy? Is Ricky Pearsall, Juwan Jennings healthy all throughout the year? Then obviously we'll see how Cowing is integrated into the offense. But I really do think Jacob Cowing has a chance to really take a monumental step in regards to what he did in year 1 to year 2. So it was really cool talking to Tet McMillan about that. I talked to Mason Graham. So I asked Mason. It was actually pretty cool the way it's set up. It basically turned into a one-on-one interview with the Michigan defensive tackle Mason Graham. Also, he has the best last name in the draft if we're being completely objective. But being able to talk to him and kind of do a one-on-one with him and just talk about his process and how it's prepared him for the next stage in the NFL. He had this one part where he started listing all his coaches and where they have come from in the NFL or where they went to in the NFL. And he's like, I've been around a lot of great coaching, a lot of great players, and I do believe that it has set me up for the next level. So Mason Graham is an interesting one because I asked him if the San Francisco 49ers had, have they been in contact? Did they reach out? Formals, informals, Zooms, those things happen. And he said that there has been no contact throughout this process. But I do like I'm going to post the interview later, and I haven't watched it back yet, but from what I remember, he's like, no, haven't heard from them. But again, he's like, you never know. And, gave me a little smirk. And I was like, yep, I know exactly what you're talking about because we don't know. It's such a weird draft. I think that's pretty much the consensus amongst everyone who's been covering drafts for a long time, is that we don't really know how it's going to shake out. Before, there was, in previous drafts, it's pretty easy to see kind of the top 15, top 20, sometimes top 25. Like, you really get a good sense of where a lot of those guys are going to go. But honestly, I don't feel that, and I'll tell you, and I'll kind of expound upon that with what I talked to Daniel Jeremiah about. But in regards to Mason Graham, I don't know. Is he going to get knocked? Are teams going to overthink it and think that maybe he's not big enough? Maybe think that his arms aren't long enough? Maybe think that he doesn't have any special traits that just wow them enough to take him in the top 5, in the top 10. I think the spot where he has been kind of mocked a lot is to the Jacksonville Jaguars. But, if he doesn't go to the Jags, would the Raiders take him? Would the Saints take him? Would the Bears take him? I think that if he makes it past the Jags, there is a chance the Pats could take him, especially with the Brady ties to Michigan and all that stuff. So I don't want to discredit that. So maybe if Mason Graham gets past 6 to the Raiders, maybe there is a chance that Graham is sitting there at 11 and the San Francisco 49ers have an opportunity to take him. And if Mason Graham is there at 11, I'm absolutely taking him because, I talked to Daniel Jeremiah today and I asked him, I said, DJ, the 49ers are sitting at 11. It's kind of a peculiar spot. We don't really know what's going to go beyond or like what's going to happen beyond the top 10 just based on how the talent is kind of distributed in this first round. And he gave me 2 names. The first name he mentioned was Walter Nolan. And what is Walter Nolan? He's a little bit undersized. He's quick twitched, good first step get off, great explosion off the line of scrimmage, quality pass rusher from the interior, can play 0 to 3 tech, most likely could play 0 to 5 tech. And so he could play all up and down that defensive line. And you kind of look at what Mason Graham is, and he's kind of similar. They're kind of similar defensive tackles. Someone said, did Mason look small? He did not look small. He definitely was bigger than me. I'm 6'3". I was definitely looking up to him. He wasn't huge by any stretch of the imagination. But he was definitely taller than I was. So he looked a solid 6'4", 6'5". He looks like a defensive lineman, and I was seeing some of the conversations about like what he looks like, and I'm thinking back to my playing days. One of the best players that I ever played against did not look like an athlete. He was about 6'1", 6'2", a solid 305 pounds. Didn't work out all that much, but boy, was he a problem on the interior. You talk about first step, get off, technique, hand moves, just natural strength. It's like just because someone looks good or throws around a bunch of weight in a weight room, it doesn't necessarily translate to functional strength. Yes, yes, he was Samoan, Rob. he absolutely was Samoan. My guy rolled out of bed and rushed the passer. That's pretty much what he did. He was a highly recruited guy out of high school. I think he originally had a scholarship to Utah, didn't work out at Utah, and then he bounced down to D2 where I was playing. But he was definitely a player. He could have been a really good player, but sometimes you just have to put a little bit more work into it to make it to that next level. So when I look at Mason Graham, just looking at the body, I've watched the film. He seems like a chill dude too. But he strikes me as kind of one of those guys. Like he's just a good pass rusher. Like he knows how to maneuver leverage. He knows how to take advantage of interior offensive linemen. And so if he's there at 11, I think that will be a fascinating situation because I think based on how everything's been discussed up until this point, he's kind of been like a top 5 lock. But man, what happens if he falls out of the top 5? Does he kind of go on a slide? I don't know. And if he falls to 11, I think the 49ers have to take him. I think they do. I don't think it's much of a question. I think it would actually be a better case scenario for them in that situation if Mason Graham slid out and you could take that level of talent at 11. Like, that makes so much sense. Like, if there are questions about maybe his measurables, maybe having an elite trait or something like that, like if he falls to 11, oh, I hope the 49ers get him. I do. I think that would be fantastic. But he's a cool dude. He was cool to talk to. So that one will be an interesting one. I talked to Cam Ward I asked him a question. Cam Ward seems like a really down to earth guy. I like Cam a lot. I don't know if I love Cam, like love him as a player, but he's cool. Like, I like Cam Ward, the person, is an awesome guy. I really enjoyed, like, you can get a sense when you talk to these guys, like the humility. I would say I asked Travis Hunter a question. I didn't really get that same feeling from him. I'd asked him if he had an opportunity to kind of reflect on his journey, getting here to the NFL draft and, getting to this finish line and just kind of having a chance to kind of look back at, where he's come from and, all of that stuff. And he's like, I don't reflect. He's like, I don't do that. I don't reflect. And he went on to say, like, I've got a lot more to accomplish at the next level. And I'll reflect when it's all said and done. And, I guess I can understand what he was saying, but it didn't come across, I think, how he was maybe intending it to be. Like, I'm a competitor. I'm not reflecting on anything. I haven't accomplished what I want to accomplish. He was a Heisman Trophy winner. I don't know. It came across a little, I don't know, just like a little cocky. It didn't come across like humility, if that makes sense. And so, like, what I was trying to say about Cam Ward is I asked him kind of a similar question, not necessarily the same exact one, but you could tell, like, he was really kind of humble about it. And, because he had mentioned something about, like, his 6-year-old self, being in this position and having this opportunity. And I just asked him, like, what would your 6-year-old self think of you, potentially being the number 1 overall pick? And he gave me a great answer. Just super cool, super down to earth, super humble. And I was like, all right, this guy's cool. Like, that, it was a cool answer. It was a question he didn't have to expand on. It was a question that, you kind of just toss up to them and they can decide how they want to respond to it. And he gave a great response. And I'm like, all right, you're cool dude. I like Cam Ward. He's fantastic. Like I said, I like the person a lot. Chili says Brad will announce a pick in the 2026 draft. I'm calling it. Also, join the Discord. We will have live chat for the draft. Hell yeah. Make sure you hop into the Discord. Chili, I just called you Jelly. I'm going to start calling you Jelly from now on. Jelly, the best Discord mod in the land. But hop into the chat if you guys want to get into a live chat for discussion. See, this is how you know, man. This is how you know. I didn't get to my hotel room until like 2 o'clock in the morning last night. Uh, probably wasn't to bed until like 2:45, and then we're up bright and early, So that's typically how these events go. You know, you're kind of running on fumes a little bit, but I kind of like jelly a little bit. I don't know. I don't know if Chili likes jelly though. Uh, Justin says, "Love that you're there, man. Did you talk to Will Johnson? Kind of hope he's the pick at 11." I did not. I definitely saw him. Um, I was. I I wish I had more time. They only gave us 30 minutes, so it's hard to really kind of hit every single one of the prospects. But Will Johnson could definitely be the pick as well. I don't know. I don't know. I think he's a good player. Um, the position of taking a cornerback at 11, maybe. I just feel like there's such a need for the trenches that it would suit the 49ers best to be able to get a trench player. So I don't know. We'll see. We'll see how it goes. But Will Johnson could definitely be the pick for sure. Did I say Will Howard? I might have said Will Howard. My ADHD brain be tripping. But yeah, man, I love that I'm here too. You know, it was really a Green Bay is really difficult to get to because I had to fly into Milwaukee and then I have to drive 2 hours. Or actually, I had to fly into Dallas. Then I had to fly from Dallas to Milwaukee. Then I had to drive 2 hours from Milwaukee to Green Bay. So it was definitely a journey to get here. But I really didn't want to focus on that. I wanted to focus on this is my first opportunity to cover the draft. And today was really cool. Today was really special. I will say I almost had like a mini panic attack because once I got in, I got my credential and I got in around 10 and the interviews were about 10 at 10:30 and I walked all over the place. I walked around the stadium over there to where the stage is. There's other places over here. I could not find anyone. I was like, where? I couldn't find an email that described where everything was. I talked to like 30 people. They were like, we have no idea where that is. I found them 4 minutes, 4 minutes before the interview started. I slammed my camera rig together and booked it. And I was able to talk to a good amount of guys, but it definitely had some anxiety to it, but was also really cool because then it started to rain and thunder a little bit, so they had to move us inside the stadium. And then that's where I was able to talk to Daniel Jeremiah and ask him that question about the 49ers. And then after that, we went on a tour of everything. So they took us to, they had the president of the Packers have some like opening ceremony, and then got some food, and which I'm down for. Then we got some more food, which I'm definitely down for. And then we made our way to the main stage, and that was really cool to be able to see the setup, walk into that area, and then actually go on to the stage. that was a really cool experience. And, I snapped a pic on the stage right behind the podium. So that was really cool. And then we walked down where the players enter, where they get their hat, and then all of that stuff. And then we walked into the green room. They've taken a lot of flack for what the green room looks like. A lot of people, they were even talking about it in like amongst other media people, talking about how it looked like a furniture store in there. Um, but it was still a cool experience. Then we went into the stadium, went to the field. The red carpet is actually on the field, so that's kind of cool. So got to go inside of Lambeau, got to go to the field. Uh, it was cool in the bowels of Lambeau Stadium, and it was a cool experience. So SF Diners, yeah, I'm trying to put together like a vlog of this whole trip. So kind of showcasing like what it's like covering NFL draft for the first time. So I'm gonna try to put together like a whole vlog situation, just kind of going behind the scenes of like everything that I just talked about, and so you can kind of see all of the situations play out. And I'll probably, oh snap, there is some. Oh, we got a flyover just for the live. Oh, baby. Oh, baby. I'm getting airstriked. Oh, man. I called that in just for the live, guys. I pulled some strings, and I wanted to make this live really special, and so we called in the flyover just for you guys. But how are you guys feeling about the draft tomorrow? Dark Lord says, hope 49ers let you announce one of the picks. Yeah, that will be the day. That will be the day that the 49ers let me announce a pick. That would be funny. Don't necessarily see that happening anytime soon. But how are you guys feeling about the draft? Who do you guys want the 49ers to pick at 11? It honestly doesn't sound like the 49ers will have a chance to trade back. I just don't think teams are really interested in moving up in this class. It really, and kind of listening to Daniel Jeremiah talk about it, it sounds like a lot of teams are trying to trade out of the first round. It feels like this is a trade back draft. Everyone's trying to move back. Oh yeah, I didn't even mention this. Daniel Jeremiah told me that if Gray Zabel is there at 11, that he would take Gray Zabel at 11. I was kind of surprised by that. I'm a big fan of Gray Zabel. I think Gray Zabel is for sure the best interior offensive lineman in this class. But I'm not a fan of taking interior offensive linemen super early. Like what he had told me, he's like, in an ideal situation, the 49ers trade back and then they take Gray Zabel. That would be ideal. That phenomenal. Trade back, then take Gray Zabel, add some more picks. I'm all for that. I don't love, even though I like Gray's, like I really do like Gray Zabel. Like he is a phenomenal player. He was by far the best offensive lineman at the Senior Bowl. I don't know if I love it at 11. So that's just kind of where I'm at with that. I was pretty surprised that he said that, to be honest. That was not the name I was expecting him to say. So And I just want to let you guys know that my laptop is about to die. Let me see if I can miraculously get some juice to it while I'm outdoors here. I don't know if I will be able to. So I have my phone backed up, ready to go. But let's see. Let's see if my portable charger will charge my laptop. I highly doubt it. Oh, no, my portable charger's out of juice. We're hurting out here, baby. We're hurting. We're on our last leg for sure. I'm at 4%. 3%. Oh, it dropped even more. Yeah, so I'm probably gonna have to switch over to my phone once this thing crashes out. But so if you see the screen go black, you'll know why. We have exhausted all the juice from today. Portable charger use. I've had to charge both of my phones multiple times. We've had to charge the new wireless mics. So it's been haven't seen too many outlets today, and I don't see any right now. So I'm gonna be juiced up for tomorrow. Don't you worry. So you know what? How about we'll just close it down for today. I think 30 minutes is pretty solid. I'll definitely be live before the draft. I need to set it up and figure it out because obviously if the 49ers draft someone that's here, I'll have the opportunity to interview them right away. So I need to figure out that setup. I need to figure out if we are streaming in the top 10, if I can bring whatever I'm streaming on into the interview room so you can like follow me to the press conference to stream while I interview the player. So I gotta figure out the logistics tomorrow of what it will look like. Obviously, being here is going to change how I've done it in the past. Because if we draft someone who's here, I'm gonna want to talk to them, and I'm gonna try to talk to some other prospects as well. So we'll get it figured out. And all that good stuff. But I appreciate everyone who's tapped in on the channel and supported me on this journey to somehow get me here to Green Bay to cover the drafts. I appreciate all you guys because your support has definitely helped me get here. So I really do appreciate it. I'm going to get out of here before my computer shuts down. But thank you guys, as always, for your support. Smash that like button. And we'll see you tomorrow on draft day. Let's go. Smash that like button if you haven't already. Love to